Hey folks, and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this is an interesting game, and there's a reason as to why I have not started this game at the start, meaning right from the start, that is. Now, I'm sure, there are a lot of YouTubers who have already posted the video of the first 30 minutes, the first 21 minutes of gameplay, etc. So I thought, let's start this video somewhere in between, not right at the start of the game. Now, right off the bat, this is a gorgeous game, perhaps one of the best that Marvel has actually put out. It's brilliant in terms of what you see on screen, in terms of the colors, in terms of the characters, in terms of there's so much happening. I mean, the level designing is phenomenal, as you can see, and as far as the gameplay elements go, it's fun. It's fun. In fact, it reminds you of a lot of platforming games, like, for instance, the Tomb Raider. It did remind me of the Tomb Raider in certain parts, especially when it comes to the platforming. And the way, the character movement or the character animation has been designed, when it's crouching, when it's, kind of platforming, etc. And here, this is an element where you can actually enjoy taking control of the ship and, just having a blast as you're playing this game. I mean, literally blasting your way through. So, and the soundtrack, I hope I do not get into trouble for still running the you could say, the artist's songs in the background, because you do have an option of turning them off. Now, I'm taking a chance here. I hope no copyright strike comes against this video, because I wanted you to enjoy the music as it is. And the soundtrack of this game is absolutely great. Just like the soundtrack of the movie is great as well. Now, oops, I kind of, died out there. But you see, once you actually kind of die in the game, the time to get back into the game, into the action, does not take very long. That's the beauty that you have with the Xbox Series S. Hardly any load times, even with the gorgeous games, graphic intensive games like this. And this game is graphically stunning, like I told at the start of the video. Just look at all that is happening on screen. There is a lot of activity, all those particles, the particle effects. It's phenomenal. I mean, the game is keeping a steady frame rate. Now, I'm not sure what frame rate it's running at, but it sure looks like 30 FPS. And as far as the resolution goes, I'm not sure, but I think it sits between maybe 1080p to maybe 1200p. I'm not sure. If you do have an idea as to what it kind of runs at, then you can post it in the comment section. I think it's between 1080p to 1200p, kind of a dynamic resolution, but for sure it's not 60 FPS. It's 30 FPS for sure. I think you can make it out as well. This game extract, the game recording, that is taken off of the Xbox Series S, and I have uploaded this in 60 FPS. But it might not actually be true 60 FPS, just letting you know. And again, it's fun. I mean, the shooting elements, etc. All those games that we played in childhood, those retro arcade shooters. It kind of reminds you of that. And this game, if you've seen the movies, it has a very retro feel, especially when it comes to the soundtrack. Some great, music spanning multiple decades. And there's a mix of pop, there's a mix of rock, hard rock, and 80s pop. 80s music, I think it's the best. It was the best time. It still is, kind of when you listen to it. 80s music is absolutely phenomenal. So here you see the title of the game finally come up, Guardians of the Galaxy. And you take a look at the visuals. This game, in terms of the scale, the sheer scale, is really grand. The ship design to the way the backgrounds look. Now, I did mention that this game might be running at a dynamic resolution of 1080p to 1200 on the Series S. But let me tell you, personally, when you sit in front of your television, everything looks sharp except for one thing, all right? I don't think there are any aliasing issues, etc. whatsoever. The one thing that I was talking about is the hair, the texture of the hair. Now, sometimes it might get you. when it comes to the hair texture. But apart from that, everything else is just sharp. And if you're playing it on a 4K television like I'm playing it on my Samsung AU9070. Your television also, like I said in all my videos, it upscales your 1080p content to 4K, and it looks brilliant. The upscale 4K, that is. So if you have hooked your Xbox Series S onto a 4K television, it will run at an upscaled 4K as well. But that's not the native resolution. But upscale 4K, hey, I mean, it looks great. It looks fantastic. I mean, you can see it on the screen. Look at all the things that you see on screen. I mean, the background, the space, the glowing kind of a halo thing around that object or planet, whatever it is. And then the characters themselves. I mean, look at Drax. Look at the lip movement. And the lip movement in this game is superb. The voice acting, brilliant. The humor in this game, it's not over-the-top humor. I wouldn't exactly call it subtle as well. It's right in between, but it works. I mean, that's what matters, right? I mean, as long as it is able to get you to laugh or smile, well, this game's gonna do that, all right? It will kind of make you smile. It will make you laugh. It is a funny game. And Rocket Raccoon's voice acting especially stands out. I think whoever has done the voice acting for Rocket Raccoon has absolutely nailed it. I think out of all the characters, when it comes to, my favorite out of this group, it is going to be Rocket. Rocket is really funny. I mean, Drax is also kind of funny, and I think the humor from the movies kind of flows into the type of humor that Drax displays. So it is similar, but the team dynamic is slightly different because, I played this game for around almost 2 hours. And in the 2 hours, there was no romantic link between Gamora and Peter Quill, at least not the first couple of hours that I played on it. So as far as the team dynamic goes, it's very different. Now, the funny part is the way Drax actually talks about Gamora is really hilarious. And you will enjoy that. He kind of always wants to keep an eye on Gamora because he doesn't trust her being, the daughter of Thanos and all that. And a little fun fact, it may be spoilery, but I'm just going to tell you that this game actually drops a bomb that Thanos is already dead in this universe. So you get that bomb early on in the game. The first couple of hours, you will get to find that out. Gardeners of the Galaxy. So I mean, there is some humor that actually flows from the movies. If you've seen the first couple of movies, the Guardians of the Galaxy, then there are some elements which are kind of similar. So in those regards, I think it may bring a smile to your face, but will not exactly make you laugh. But I did enjoy, the banter between Peter Quill and also Drax. I mean, that's really funny. I mean, the way Drax talks about Gamora is actually funny. It will get you. And you remember I was talking about that hair texture? Here you kind of get to find out when they focus on Gamora. The character design is great. I mean, each and every character stands out in terms of the character design. I actually prefer this over the movie, to be honest. Because I think it represents how they kind of look in the comics as well.
Sorry, excuse me, I just need to...
And again, everything looks sharp, like I said. Now, I know for sure it's not running at 4K, but whatever you get on screen on the Xbox Series S is brilliant. And those cutscenes, like the one that you're watching right now, the voice acting, the facial animations, the character designs, all top-notch. They're right out there, right on top. And as far as, answering the question, whether this is the best Marvel game so far, in fact, I'm going to do that right in the middle of this video. I think it just might be. I mean, it might be the best Marvel game out there in terms of the sheer production values, in terms of the gameplay, except for one complaint that I have. And I'm going to talk about that just in a bit. But apart from that, in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the production values, I think this sits right on top when it comes to any of those other Marvel games that have come out, whether it's on your mobile devices, whether it's on your consoles. So there are a lot of character upgrade options as well, and you can actually choose between costumes as well, depending you have those costumes. Now, if you get a digital edition, then you actually get a few more costume options. I didn't go for that digital, upgrade. I mean, digital version upgrade or the upgraded version. I just stuck with the base version. Now, this game, by the way, in terms of the size, on the Xbox Series S comes in at 42.2 GB. So it's not really a big game. I mean, considering the size of games that have been coming out on the Series S and on the Series X, it is a respectable 42.2 GB, and it has to sit on your internal storage because obviously it's an Xbox Series X and S game, so it's the current gen game, so you won't be able to run it if you're storing it on your external hard drive.
Dead in the quarantine zone, looking for God.
You'll come across this character again, later on if you've seen the trailers, etc. You know that this character is gonna come a little later on as well. But you look at those backgrounds, items, everything in the background, the characters, to the lighting. The lighting is brilliant in this game, by the way. And if you know me, if you know what I talk about when it comes to these game videos, then you know I'm a big fan of lighting. Look at the lighting, all right? The particle effects, the light that is bouncing off of that object right there, the light blinking, and the particle effects in this game is on a whole different level, you could say. And with such a lot of activity happening on screen, in the opening sequence or in the opening 30 minutes or so, there is a lot of particle effects that you will actually come across, which I have not shown in this video, obviously. But even with that, like I said, the game never slows down. I mean, it doesn't stutter. There are no frame drops. At least I didn't experience it on the Series S. And that again shows the capability of the tiny little device, the Xbox Series S, how capable it is. I mean, it shells out a solid 30 FPS. And again, games which are cutscene heavy, I've said it, I'll say it again, don't mean to sound like a broken record, but hey, these type of games, they don't really need 60 FPS, except for when you're playing maybe first-person shooters or maybe shooter games. Games like this, you're gonna enjoy it in 30 FPS. And if you've got MEMC on your television, you can anyways artificially kind of have the simulated 60 FPS kind of a feel. Well, it depends on your television as well. That's why it's always good to have a good TV as well while you're playing. And again, look at that fire. The lighting. I don't think this game has ray tracing. I'm not sure. So in case you feel, or if you have that information, feel free to drop it in the comment section. I don't think it has ray tracing. However, the lighting, the illusion, I think, that they've tried to do is that it feels like it has ray tracing in some areas, but it may not exactly have ray tracing. What do you think? I mean, irrespective of whether it has or whether it doesn't have, it's a beautiful game.
Blast doors kick in during emergencies. Pretty sure
everything looks fantastic. And again, that lighting, I mean, just look at that lighting, the lighting of the fire, the reflection that bounces off these crates or cartons, whatever you want to call it. And obviously, this is a game which again has that multi-path approach. So there are going to be dialogue options that you can choose from, and depending on your dialogue options, like I said, it's going to have an impact on the story. It's also going to have an impact on your character and the characters around you. So this game will not fail to surprise you in terms of the visuals. I mean, look at that fire. And again, we've come from a very industrial kind of a color tone over to, bright orange. And again, those particle effects. The fire doesn't look pixelated at all. In fact, this game looks so good on the Xbox Series S that I'm actually kind of surprised with so much going on screen. not only does it look great, it actually plays really well.
Nice work.
Thanks. You didn't do too bad yourself, pirate.
Only Star-Lord.
And the voice acting, whether it's in the cutscenes, whether it's the in-game, voice acting,
Okay.
like you're
Peter.
witnessing right now,
Listen,
it's so good. I mean, they've done such a great job. The voice actors, I mean, kudos to them. They've literally, brought these characters to life.
They all have lives.
Especially Rocket, watch out for Rocket. I really enjoyed the voice acting and the character of Rocket Raccoon. In fact, more than the movies. Yeah, definitely more than the movies.
Pipes must have burst.
Sorry, Bradley Cooper, but it just,
Should we try
I mean,
using that
he is a
damage
much
ticket
better,
first to call
character
someone?
here
We
in
don't
this
need
game.
help. I know what I'm doing. Now help me block this fire so we can get through.
And the thing that I was complaining about,
Just that everyone must be
in terms
worried.
of gameplay,
Captain's kid goes missing.
Captain Stick is still
alright, so I'm gonna
performing.
mention that
Are you
right
gonna
now.
help
I mean,
me or
you
not?
see how the character runs? Well, there is no option of sprinting. So you can't really fast run. That, I think, kind of
There, see? You don't need to worry about it.
is maybe a
There's
downside,
people around
but
like that already.
hey, I mean, every game to
For what it's worth, I think you're doing
itself, because every game is different. And I'm just used to, I mean, characters having the ability to sprint, because I've played so many games now, which allow you to,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Assassin's
That's
Creed
just
or even the
kids.
latest Titanfall that I was
I
playing.
know all the bots down here.
It did allow me to
They're kind of
sprint.
my friends.
So this game kind of reminds me of the
I
medium, because
program
even in the
most of them.
medium, you don't have a sprint option when it comes to the
No, I
character.
mean it's cool. Give them personality.
Look at that lighting, the lights blinking, the electricity,
This way.
the sparks.
Does your mom
A1,
let you play down
this
here?
is top
Probably
notch.
not. But what else am I gonna do? Not like there's any other kids on board.
And again, about the ray
I have
tracing,
a lot of
feel
friends
free to
who are
drop in a
crazy.
message in the comment
Granted, I
section
was
if you
friends
think
with
that it
them,
has
still.
ray tracing.
So mom was right about you.
I
was a
think it doesn't.
safari
I think it
prison.
doesn't.
I was just a kid.
But
I have so many questions.
nevertheless, I mean, brilliant
Were
looking
your
game.
parents in prison too?
No, my mom died.
So in this game, you only have an option of playing as Star-Lord. So it's not like you can toggle between the characters, at least not in the first
How
couple
do
of
you know
hours.
my mom?
And the
Exactly.
idea was just to have you play as Star-Lord. So you can take advantage of your partners. That is,
More like
you
real
you
controlling.
actually can have your partners
Bossy,
taking some action on screen as
judgmental.
well.
You're just
Unfortunately,
a
in this video,
I know
I've
what's good for you,
I
Nikki.
don't
Stay
think
out
I'll
of
be
your
able to show that.
stupid Nikki.
But
Pretty sure
if you are planning to download this game, then you should know that you are able to take advantage of your partners as well by just pressing LB on your
Whatever.
Xbox, and then a screen comes up, and then you can request your character partners to take action on screen, like they can participate in the action that's happening on the screen.
This way.
And it's all very intuitive, and it's very easy to toggle between what you want each character to do. And you can keep upgrading those kind of capabilities of your characters,
What?
not
No,
just Star-Lord,
no.
but even your other characters.
Just promise you won't tell.
So there is an
anyone
option to
about this
upgrade.
place.
Oh, wow. Is this your mom? Single-handedly winning the war?
Obviously.
Again, look at the level design. I mean, it's
No.
I think the level design is absolutely stunning. I mean,
Massive
each
team effort.
area has such a lot of variation.
Differently.
Now, even though this is all supposed to be
Which is,
one, you could say, single location, but if you've noticed, in terms of the colors that you see on screen, we've gone from gray to blue to orange to bright orange right now, like the graffiti that you see on the floor.
No, it's good.
This game offers so much in terms of the level design. I mean, every new corner has something new to offer, you could say. That's how good it is. I mean, it shows a lot of variation. So in terms of level design, a lot of variety. And what you see on screen will never be boring,
This is Mercury,
because there's
right?
always something new
It's supposed to
right
represent
around the
this
corner.
Big battle Mom was part of.
And
You
if
said
you've
you were
seen
there,
How I
right?
Met Your Mother,
Oh, yeah.
the series, the funny series, like the character Barney Stinson says, new is always better.
You want me to draw you in?
In the interest of
So you see, how we
Hey,
were in this area now, which
limits.
no adults.
was lit with
Get it.
Anyway,
you could say
I'm all
these
done here.
bright graffitis, not
We
exactly
should
lit, but
probably
it
get
had,
back
you know, those
before
bright
Mom
graffitis. And again,
completely
you're
forgets.
going into
Yeah,
that industrial corner where everything is gray or
I'm not a
blue.
kid anymore.
And then,
You know?
there are
Tell me
elements of
about
those
it.
red light. Now, this is the section that I was talking
You
about,
get
when it
where I'm
comes to the
coming
gameplay
from,
elements.
right?
It
Like if you
feels
don't
like a
end up
Tomb Raider
talking to
game.
my mom,
And even
subject
in
of
terms
what
of sliding,
happens
when
to
you
come
have
up.
the
Say
opportunity
no
to
more.
slide
I'll
down,
make sure Corell knows
um,
what a good job you did.
No.
it feels
And
like Tomb Raider. I'm not sure if it would feel like that to you as well. I
Mom
mean, do
never
comment
needs
and
to
let me know,
I was
if you
in the
feel the
hangar
same
at
as well.
all.
So I never saw you?
Exactly. Never saw me. Never saw my passkey. You may have heard of Nikki Gold and how cool she is, but that's it.
Need a hand?
Yes.
Now,
Got it. Mom? I can explain.
again, the characters, each and every character, even the kid here, look at those facial animations. They're so good.
What in Hollis' name were you thinking? Sneaking out with an arresting squad, running around with criminals.
Alleged criminals?
You almost died.
And look at the
Do you
lip
have any
movement,
idea how
when the
grounded you are right
characters
now?
deliver those
You
dialogues.
promised to give me more leeway.
Leeway doesn't mean lying to my officers or sneaking around behind
So
my
good,
back.
isn't it?
Look, it's my fault. Some guy's ship blew up.
Restricted areas are restricted for a reason.
A lot of cutscenes, so you can, rest your hands
Are you
as
even
well.
listening?
Whoa, whoa.
But
Moving through a
yeah,
lot today.
keep
Let's
in
just
mind that
take
you
a
do
deep
have to take
breath.
timely actions when it comes to the dialogue
Recognize
options,
that
because
maybe we've
if
all
you
made
do
some
not take an
mistakes.
action, then that may have consequences
Make
as
sure the
well. So
fire
yes,
is out in the hangar secure.
you can rest your
Definitely.
hands
And
when
find
you're
out
playing
why
this
that
game
trip
because
shell
of the
exploded.
cutscenes and how many cutscenes are in this game.
Cooperate.
But you have to take those timely decisions. You have to side with characters. You have to take those chances, and you have the power
Knew you'd overreact.
to shape the
Always
way the
overreact.
story plays out.
Even Peter was saying
Like
so.
this
Oh, he
one,
was he?
you can
I
choose,
suspect Peter
and you have to
misspoke,
do it
so
in
he often
time.
tends to do. So I
Like there's a
suggest you learn
timer, you
less
see?
about what he said and more about what I'm saying now. What you did was extremely dangerous. Do you even
And
get that?
you have to
Wasn't that
press on that
Yes,
button. That's what I was, I mean, that's what I was wanting to say. You need to press on that X. When you select a side, press on that X.
What, are you gonna kill us?
In theory, these doors
The,
don't
the
open
facial
until I
expressions,
say
I'm
so.
just look at the child,
I
the
don't think you do,
character
because somehow
here.
you keep bypassing
So
every
good.
security measure on this ship, and I want to know how. Or you can just show me.
Mom,
Again, it's about making that choice.
I seriously.
I
have no
seriously
idea
chose a
what
very
you're talking
lame
about.
option here.
You know, this reminds me of the last time I was stuck in an elevator. I was with this Shiar girl, and she
Ew! What is wrong with you?
she was a lovely person.
It's a funny game, it'll definitely make you laugh. It makes you crack up, I mean, sometimes.
Until you tell me what I want to know.
Not exactly burst into laughter, but
No, I don't. I know you're a magnet for danger, and that you somehow
It's
keep
funny.
getting caught in restricted areas of this ship.
I'm small. Okay? I fit into places.
Being
Fit into
small doesn't
places.
get you past security, or through the hangar bay checkpoint, or the maintenance tunnel blast doors.
it's those
or even
options
to the
again.
sub-level I
You
just
have to
found you in.
choose.
There was that
Look at the
system
background
glitch,
blur
remember?
as well.
Yeah.
It gives it all a
Security
very
was down
cinematic
for a
feel.
while.
No, it wasn't.
Seemed pretty down to me.
I mean, if I really have to
You
nitpick,
seriously lying
then my
for a 12-year-old
only
right
nitpick would
now?
be the texture of, the character's hair.
These 60.
But hey, that's minor.
What?
That's really minor.
She really knew her stuff.
Apart from that, every single aspect of this game
smart.
stands
Just
out in
bypassing
terms of
security.
sharpness.
Unless
You won't
have
feel
a
like
license
it's
access to my
1080p or
ship all of a sudden?
1200p. Now, I'm not sure if it is,
didn't think so.
or if it's running at 1440p on the Xbox Series S, because I have no idea as far as the resolution goes, as far as the frame rate goes.
Nikki?
I'm thinking again, like I said at the start of the video, it toggles between 1080 to 1200p, and it may be running at 30 FPS. The FPS, I'm pretty much kind of sure that it is 30 FPS because it doesn't feel like 60 FPS. You see those
Told you it was restricted.
those options that you had to choose from? It did have an impact. This child character actually
The
trusted you
security staff have been sleeping
with a
in the
card, with an
tower.
access card.
All I know is I'm not hiding anything. I wouldn't do that.
To be continued. Disengage lockdown. So,
Look at the light
you hopes to get
bouncing
hang
off
now?
the character's
No,
hair.
You can go back to your quarters and you can stay there for the next 30 rotations.
But Mom!
I can make it 30 cycles.
Some scene it looks good, and some scene, you know, I mean, like for instance, this one, you know, it wasn't that good. And I think this game is kind of having you have Stallone have kind of this romantic relationship with this particular female character in this game. I'm not sure, you know, I've only played like 2 hours of this game. So far in the game, no romantic linkage between Gamora and Peter Quill.
No idea.
And it's good to mix things up. Oh, by the way, there are a lot of these, you could say, Marvel references, or it's rather Disney references, sorry, Disney references, because here you have Chewbacca
Keep him if
from
you
Star
want.
Wars.
He is yours.
There are references to Tron
Expect him to keep doing
as well. So it's fun, you know, I mean, all Disney properties.
Now I have a daughter, apparently.
You see the facial expressions, right? I mean, that's what I enjoyed about this game. It truly brings life to these characters because, hey, delivering your dialogue without any facial expressions is so lifeless. And these characters, you know, they breathe life into these characters with the help of these facial animations,
At first.
these expressions, and that just elevates the whole, you know, I mean,
You're still the same.
I've changed. Whatever the
relationship
fuck
with
just
these
give me
characters, because
3 cycles.
you gotta feel for
I'm
them,
not still
you can
whatever it
understand,
is you're gonna finish that
relate
sentence
with them.
You're gonna pay 9,000 units in 3
And look at those
cycles.
expressions.
Wow, that
Even
okay,
that part where, you know, Peter Quill did like,
that is a lot of money.
it's, I mean,
I
those
was
tiny
thinking that
little
It's non-negotiable.
details.
My search party found a disturbing amount of prohibited tech lying around your ship.
And even
a
the
Class
way
2
the
biohazard.
characters' eyes have been designed, you know, the movement of the eyes,
Okay,
it's not
okay,
weird.
you'll
Like,
get your money
if you've
on
seen my
time.
video on the Mass Effect
This Guardians
games,
of
the
Galaxy
Legendary
is
Edition,
close to getting it off
those
the
characters, you know, have very weird eyes. Like, you could say psycho eyes in some cases. But here,
ground. Show you just
it's
how
so
very
good.
close we are.
Look at how, you know, the hair was swaying.
When have I ever?
Even now, you know, the movement
You
of the
won't
hair.
regret it. Promise.
So good. Hey, Chewie. And the soundtrack, again, soundtrack is superb. And you do have an option of, you know, kind of like a jukebox where you can actually listen to certain tracks. That's when you come on board your ship and there's a kind of a player lying around, and you can actually pick some of the tracks, play them, and listen to him, you know, listen to them, you know, while you're in the game.
How, Peter? You said you could get us out of this.
I did. 9,000 units is a small price.
9,000 units! That is a tremendous sum.
Rocket, you know, I mean, Rocket is great. I mean, you're gonna enjoy. Let me know
Okay.
what you think
So
of
we
these
got
characters, you know,
fined.
which one of these
With a tracking
is
fee
your
on our
favorite
ship
character?
for
Well,
sure,
for me,
if we don't pay
Rocket
that
was
fine in 3
definitely number
cycles,
1.
At least we're not on a prisoner
Uh,
transport.
Not yet.
and there's this sense of competition that's going on between Rocket and Peter Quill, just like in the movies.
You killed Thanos.
Allegedly.
Are you gonna let a little fine slow you down? And Gamora, you're practically an MI6 agent, but way hotter and cooler. There's nothing you can't do.
Here it comes.
I mean, everything stands out in this game. I mean, this game is fantastic. I would highly recommend that you actually do download this game. Do let me know, you know, what your thoughts are about this game. If you have had the chance to download it, if you've had the chance to play it, let me know your comments as to, you know, what you feel about this game. And like I say in all my videos, this is the part where I say, if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, well, now's the time you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And also share it with your friends and family members in case you feel that they also enjoyed this kind of content. And also hit that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Well, I do keep churning out these type of videos on gaming, especially Xbox Series S. And I enjoy gaming on the Xbox Series S a lot. So, well, that's a wrap for this one. And I will see you again in the next video, folks. Until then, I'd say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.